I started really, I guess I started working with the arts really from quite a young age. I think that often the arts find you if you're meant to do it, because it's not necessarily something people really encourage you to do, especially in our culture very often. So yes, my daughter, go out and be an artist. You know, you rarely hear that, you know. I know these girls can relate. You're hearing doctor, you're hearing lawyer, you're hearing accountant, you know. You're not really hearing actor, writer. Thankfully, I actually was from a family, I have to say, my trajectory is not exactly the same as some of my classmates when I was growing up, for instance. My parents are both academics, and they were in the US, obviously, that's where I was born. So they were there for their university and post-university time. So they had sort of a mindset that said, you know, pursue what you're So I really got to develop my interest through high school and through even starting around grade 7, I think, and then right through high school at the convent. I was part of different plays of St. George's, became very good friends with people at Reptines and stuff like that. So, you know, had to nurture the craft with After I finished my first degree, I then went to what's called NYU, New York University, Tisch School of the Arts. And it's an MFA program, which is a 3-year training program where you're just immersed in training to become an actor who's very well trained, classically trained, who can do anything, you know. So that's where I was after my 4 years in undergrad. And that was where, actually at the end of undergrad, is where I started to create my own work. So after that, I went to my graduate school, where thankfully there's a great graduate school for teaching people not to wait by the phone, say, I hope someone calls me with a job, but teaching them how do you create your own work, how do you take control of your artistry. Because what you tend to find with actors is that, you know, we tend to be, you know, at the bottom of the food chain, you know, we're like the kudu in the safari park, you know, and the lions are the ones, you know, roaming in charge of everything, you know, the producers and what, and then the actors are just, you know, the park. There's the one he mentioned, the 2-woman show. That's how I created it. I basically, you know, built on what Weena first told me, built on what I was learning at my graduate school. In the final year, thankfully, there's one of the few programs that does this. They let you create your own work if you want. So I was dying for it, because the whole time, you know, I was studying through, you know, the great old guys, you know, which means, you know, the dead white guys. And I love some of the dead white guys' work. I love Ibsen, I love Shaw, I love Chekhov. And so I knew I needed, my idea in my head was, I needed to go to this level of education so I could learn all the rules, then I could break them. Then I would know how to do what, with whatever I wanted. So I got to the end of the training. There's this one time they give you at the end to do your own work, create your own play, if you want. And I was kept, every chance I got to do my own thing, I was always creating these little Zimbabwean characters, these little girls or women or whatever. And so this girl was in my class. It's a class of like 17 per year. And she saw me, and she's the other, we know each other very well. She was the other black girl, only 2 black girls in the class. And she came to me and she said, I think you want to create a piece about Zimbabwean women and HIV, and I want to create one about black women in America and HIV, she's American. And I was like, because I knew I wanted to create about Zimbabwe, but I'd shown that problem in some of my monologues, but I hadn't decided. But when she came to me and said that, I said, yeah, you're right, that's what I want to do. So we started to create a piece that became in the Continuum. And it's really been it was really a blessing. It was a blessing. It was quite a journey to create this in a little classroom. And you know, I kept making these little characters. I did a lot of research, and then I kept making these little characters. You know, and I would do them like the one who's a housekeeper in the house of the protagonist, and the other one is reading the BBC News or whatever these little characters were. And then I would put them in front of my American classmates or my American teacher, the one who was helping us, and I would be like, they're gonna say they think this is Greek. You know, they're gonna think this is Greek. But they didn't. They understood it, they related to it, and they responded well. So it was very encouraging. So I kept creating it. We did it together. She did her half, which was American. My half is Zimbabwean. Some people might have seen it at Haifa. If not, you can now see the Zimbabwean version, which will now be at Theatre in the Park starting next month. With 2, not me by the way, it'll be 2 Zimbabwean actresses. So we're trying to find them right now. So that's why in the mornings, that's what we do. We're auditioning some women very vigorously. And so, yeah, that was really a breakthrough experience, because the play kind of rolled out in such a way that it was very unusual. And so when people ask us, how do you do what you did? We're like, look, we don't know. There's no formula for how that happened for us. We created this play, people liked it, they said they took it there, they took it there. The next thing, a producer from off-Broadway saw it and put it in his theater. The next thing from there, it got this amazing press. You know, in America, the New York Times is like, you know, the word of God. So whatever the New York Times guy says is like, so he said great things, so then the play was a hit. And then, you know, then the next thing we came here actually for Haifa, then we toured it in South Africa, toured it in America for a very long time, and then we said, look, we came back to Southern Africa actually, Swaziland, South Africa again, and then we're like, we retire, we're done. Let someone else take it on. We're passing it on to the next generation. It's nice to see that other women have picked it up and other productions have been made. But, you know, it's a very unusual trajectory, so I don't say this happens for everyone, you know, who leaves school in America. It's a very unusual thing that happened for us. The thing that I'm thankful about what happened was that I got to step out in front of the world as a professional actor with my... I started to create pieces because I was confused as to why the portrayals of Africans were so limited. So that's why that play he mentioned in the Continuum that I brought here in '06, and now we're doing it again at Theatre in the Park, it was somewhat of a response to the fact that I wasn't finding anything that I wanted to. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think a lot of people, they think about Hollywood and Broadway, and they think about the glamour, especially Hollywood. They think about the glamour, they think about the glitziness, they think about that money, they think about those things. But thankfully, I feel like I've been wired to not think about things like that, possibly because I'm from here, possibly, but also because I was always driven by that desire to create from what I experienced right here in Zim, you know, just when I was a student, that place where you become a creator of something. You're not just going there to show off. You're going there to tell someone's story through your body, because that's what it is, it's a physical craft. So that's kind of how I was wired.